como la tequerica del Oomen. I didn't give you my middle name because, yeah, it's a bit of a long one. And I am an editor member with the Vancouver Media Co-op. I would like to start by acknowledging the fact that we are here on unceded Coast Salish territory. This is something I'd like to acknowledge very consciously. It's something that definitely should not be just glossed over, something that we should consider very pointedly when we say it. And in fact, my entire short talk is around the theme of acknowledgement. And so I'd like to acknowledge the fact that the Vancouver Media Co-op, the VMC, is pretty much the most controversial media organization in Vancouver. And the way we run it, we're hoping to continue to be the most controversial media organization here by constantly challenging the dominant perception of what is independent media. How controversial are we? Well, so controversial that I was told that we might not be able to make it to this panel because there was some issue about whether we might verbally have issues with other panelists, which I definitely don't. In fact, I would like to mention that we are up against something fairly big in everything that we do, and unity is strength in everything. And I'd also like to acknowledge the fact that all the organizations represented in this panel have, in one way or another, interacted well with the Vancouver Media Co-op, and that they've had something, somewhat, sort of, to do in our development. So, what exactly is the Vancouver Media Co-op? We started off as the Olympic Resistance Network's media arm, sort of. And so we, as Catherine mentioned about Rebel, came out of protest, pretty much. And the idea was to represent the protester side of what was going on with the anti-Olympic movement. And out of this we became the Vancouver Media Co-op, and our idea was to become just more than independent media, but to become radical, grassroots, community-based media. So it's all very good in terms of the words, but what do those words mean? Well, radical, grassroots, community-based means that we take on controversial issues. And we cover them in controversial ways, which is actually as simple as covering radical militant action in the same way that we'd cover a panel, right? And as a consequence of this, we have incredibly radical people, militant people even, that write for our website, which they can do because we have open publishing, and as long as it isn't stuff that isn't racist, sexist, death threats, it goes on there. We also made a concerted effort not to sell out. We did not accept Olympic money in any way because we were covering the anti-Olympic movement. And in fact, we did our very best to make sure that the idea of the Olympics being on stolen native land was central in all our covering, and even took that to the piece that we produced for what was that? Democracy Now! Yes, that's what it was. And so we're set up right now with a website as well as a bi-monthly publication, a broadsheet called the Balaclava, which you can pick up anywhere. And we also provide workshop skill shares for people to come in and basically write, do audio, video, whatever. And our ongoing coverage is of pretty much everything. Anti-capitalist, anti-authoritarian struggles, poverty and homelessness, anti-fascist issues, migrant rights issues, which is very important to us, indigenous issues from the downtown east side to land defense, and everything in between. Environmental issues, and something that's become very big over the summer for us, G20 RSD solidarity, as well as prison solidarity. So why be radical? Well, we like to think that there's no such thing as being unbiased. And in fact, the bias is almost always against us, being radical, being activists. And our mandate is to simply represent our communities as best as we can. We don't believe in, we believe there is some way for it, but we don't believe in ourselves being reformist. We believe in setting up brand new media that is a direct challenge to to the main media outlets out there. And once in a while, there is a little bit of a reward. For instance, we just got awarded from the Canadian Federation of Worker-owned Co-ops the Best Practice Award for Outstanding Contributions to Democratic Engagement. And that particularly had to do with the fact that we engage our reader members, our contributor members, and our editor members into what we do, to make sure that everyone gets a say in what's going on. And so yeah, as I said, my entire thing is based on, my talk here is based on acknowledgement. And so my final acknowledgement is, we're talking up here about protest media. And so we've talked a lot about media, we've talked about protests, and that my acknowledgement is to the people out there that are part of these struggles. The people who are out in the streets that are also doing the smaller things as well, and actually in the actual struggle. Because it's what they do that inspires us to do what we do. And to them, I extend my absolute solidarity. And thank you very much for listening to me.